Hello, you're listening to the Sharp Times podcast, and welcome back, because we've been away for a bit, but back now. And I'm your host, Marjolein Robertson, and this week I'm joined by Angela Leask.
Hi, Marjolein.
Hi, Angela, how are you?
Not too bad at all.
Thanks for joining us on this kind of terrible March day.
Certainly is. It's windy, cold, and yeah, just the usual for Shetland weather.
Yes, and I was speaking to you because this is the season of Up Helly Aa, and we're coming to our last Up Helly Aa.
Yes, we are. We've got the Waas Brownie Up Helly Aa.
Yeah.
This Friday night.
Sorry, I'm interrupting you, but I just realised this is my own fault. I never asked you for you to introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about yourself, Angela.
So I'm Angela. I was Tate, and I'm now Leask, and I come from Shetland. I have been in Shetland most of my life. Studied a bit in Glasgow. My family come from Waas and some in Nath as well. And I work in the council in the fostering and adoption team.
And speaking about your family for Waas is really pertinent to this week's episode, because you just said it there. So Waas Up Helly Aa this Friday.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So I'm the Brownie leader out in Waas, and so we occasionally over the last 30 years we've had an Up Helly Aa out in Waas. And it is one that is mostly for bairns. So it started through the Brownies.
Was that 30 years ago, did you say?
So 30 years ago was the first public Up Helly Aa that was held in the Waas Hall. And so that was in 1988.
Yeah.
And I was the Jarl. I think I was allowed to hide in an adult torches. I didn't think I would make it to the end of the procession, but we don't really allow Brownies to do that now. But so that was all that time ago. And this year, my own lass, Ruby, is going to be the Jarl.
So it's come full
30 years later. Yeah.
That's an amazing. That's come an anniversary, and it's the Jarl's daughter.
Yeah. So, it came about because. The Brownie leaders away out in the 1980s was Catriona Cox.
Okay.
And her man was the local GP, Dr. Derek Cox, and she was the Brownie leader along with Laura Williamson. So what they did was in 1987 they had a pretty moody enactment of Up Helly Aa, just held in the school, and it was Henry Anderton, the laird's daughter, Kirsty. So she rigged up, and we all wore brownie outfits. Can you mind the brown dresses?
Yeah.
We wore that inside out.
Kind of
that was suddenly
like
were brownie.
A cuttle.
Yes, and they had, yes, exactly. And they happened to have a belt and everything, so we just turned them inside out, pat them on, and we had our jackets and some fleeces. So we had a bit of an enactment in 1987, and we actually burned a cardboard galley in a pallet.
Nice.
At the Fud in Waas. And then the following year, the leaders obviously decided to turn it into a bigger event in the hall. We squads, and the squads were male or female, bairns or adults. It was for any age, and so that's what made it a bit different for all the other Up Helly Aa.
Yeah, because this is the one that I've grown up knowing my whole life.
Yeah.
So I never thought anything of it then. And it was so nice, because when we were 7 years old, we were allowed to put a squad in which we kind of just ran around the hall screaming. But still... it was good fun.
Yeah. So I didn't. To my knowledge, I didn't kind of do any other Up Helly Aa that has actual bairns and squads themselves.
I know of an unofficial one in Weatherstay. I think was. There used to be the Weatherstay.
The Weatherstay one. It does make it you can a really kind of community event, and everybody's involved, and also that the lasses are the Jarl squad themselves, so it's all female. Some years the scouts did do that, as they had their own Up Helly Aa as well, and obviously in that 30 years they've been some years when there no been Brownies. But some years they're no had it, and some years there've been scouts that did it. But yeah, it's been 30 years for the first public one.
Do you know what just occurred to me now is that this podcast can be listened to anywhere in the world.
Oh yeah.
So I never
You're going to know what
some context for what Up Helly Aa is. Up Helly Aa is a celebration you have in Shetland. There's about 10 or so of them around the islands, and it's a celebration of our Viking ancestry, where you have a squad of folk who dress up in Viking regalia, and there's usually the King Viking, the guys of the Jarl, who kind of heads up that squad, and they build a replica galley which they burn in an evening celebration, and after that there's Shetland dancing, traditional dancing, and reenactments by different squads of folk dressed in different costumes, and their costume will be related to what their act's going to be. I think that's a kind of way of describing it.
Yes, it is,
It's really big and complicated, and it's amazing. They range from Up Helly Aa of like 900 folk right down to the Waas Up Helly Aa.
Which only is 20 in one Jarl squad.
20 in the Jarl squad,
yeah,
that's big, yeah. Because I was in the Jarl squad when I was in the Brownies, and I was guys of Jarl in 1999?
Yeah, could days you been?
I think so. Or 2000 maybe even, and it was one of the proudest days of my life, and still is now. It's up to the guys of Jarl and their family to kind of big the galley.
Yes.
So whether that's a...
So in Waas, what happened was they had a couple of cardboard ones that they ended up burning, and then Laura Williamson's husband Matty, who was a boat builder, he built a wooden galley in that for 1988. And we unfortunately we did burn that one.
What, you burnt that one?
We burnt that one.
When?
And well, no, that was just that same year. So the following year,
I'm thinking of the one on the wheels.
Yes. Okay. So the following year he made another one. So that's the one that we still use.
Yeah.
And so for a few years they just had a bonfire, but a few years ago, American film series was filming called the Amazing Race.
Oh yes, I know who big is this one.
Yes, so we still so a galley was designed for especially for the show, and made out of metal, and so once that was finished, then I believe the designer got to keen about you can advise
was
Up Helly Aa.
Jamie Powys from Malakoff?
Yeah, it could have been so. But I think there was another person who actually designed a different person that designed it. But there are a few folk. I was actually trying to get to the bottom of that story for for this weekend for the programme. And so yeah, I think that the story was that the person who designed it had been really impressed with the bairns' involvement in the Brownies and that, so he gifted the galley to the Waas Up Helly Aa to use every year in the burning bit of it.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to do that as well as everything else. So that's what that came from. And we now keep it in a shade next to the hall, so it's good. So I'm really lucky to have that.
Yeah. And it's nice as well. What I like about the Waas Up Helly Aa is it's similar to that of Bressa, and I think maybe one's up in Unts, maybe that it's all in the one hall.
Yes, it is all in the one hall.
So you all sit as a community the whole night, and then just before your act's on, you run in the back and get changed and actually work out what you're going to do.
Yes.
And then run out and do it.
Yeah, and ask the band to play a few extra songs till you get ready. And you have also folk sometimes in multiple squads as well, because it is a pretty community, wearing all different outfits and things, so that can be a bit of a carry on trying to do that. I mind one year being in 5, which was quite complicated.
I mind one year we had our only ever squad practice up in the snooker room just before we went on to do it.
Yes, that's right. One year I think one year we did have a second hall, if you like, and we used the Methodist church.
Oh yeah.
But they just did that for one year, but a lot of folk felt just all cramming into the one hall is a much better idea, and more fun even when you can't finish it. But so that's, hopefully we'll have the weather'll be good to us this Friday.
I think it's always been actually a chip on my shoulder, but like, it's not a well-known Up Helly Aa. I mean, I'm all for it. I thought what Leslie Simpson did in Smooha was brilliant. They said the first female guys of Jarl. Yeah, she was the first. Well, one of the first, because I heard a story that there's once a female guys of Jarl, not once.
Oh right, yeah, could days you have been.
But I just think that people just still look at me completely perplexed and say, yeah, Waas Up Helly Aa this weekend. They're like, there's a what?
Quite,
I'm like, it's been going on for 30 years.
Yeah, we're not been very good at shouting about it, shall we say.
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's just because it's bairns?
I think
not belittling bairns, because I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it is because they're bairns involved as well, so a lot. But actually, some of the acts, even though they're involved, it's bairns, are actually quite complex. So the Brownies within their act have done things like the cup song. They've like this year we're singing 2 songs within the act.
Yeah.
So it's somewhat can go on. It's quite complicated. A lot of practice goes in, even though it's pretty ones that's doing it. Some of them it's like quite long sketches and things.
Yeah.
And we have the Westside players are going to do a sketch for us too. So no, it'll be good. But yeah, I think as well, because it is in the one hall. You can just get so many folk in the hall. So yeah, we're not really. I suppose hate to advertise it to fill the hall if you like too much. But yeah, it's just kind of like a secret Up Helly Aa going on in the Westside.
Sorry about I know, and you can't really have a hot day when the Arrow squad is all like under.
No, that's it. I mean, yeah, the bar's open, and yeah, so yeah, they'll celebrate with their cups of schlor and things like that.
Yeah.
So.
And when you took over, so you are you Brown Owl in the Brownies?
Yeah,
they
so
just tag owls' names. But
owls are so I'm technically what was known the Brown Owl, so out in Waas now, yeah.
So when you took on that role in the Brownies, was the Up Helly Aa still continuing, or did you start it up again?
So no, it was continuing. Elaine Dretford and Louise Garrick had done it for a couple of years, so that's how I ended up with the task. Yeah, so it had been going on a couple of years before I came back to it. Yeah.
And I think it's really important for the bairns because they get excited. I remember as well that they still do, or they used to still do an assembly in the primary school where all the bairn squads had a kind of run through before the night. So
what we do now is we actually have it, one of the reasons we have it on a Friday as well is we actually take a bus and we visit, we go to Sanus, Skeld, Waas, and 8th schools through the day. So the bairns actually start at 9 in the morning.
Oh, so it's like a proper full day for the adult
so it's
squad.
Full day, and then so once we're done all the schools, we have our lunch out at 8th. We sing 2 songs at every school, and and then we go up to the care centre, and then we invade the shop as well, and then we go back to the hall for our tea. So it's a full day, for the pretty ones. So it's quite a long day. Yeah,
and do you think this is important for them as well?
Yeah, no, I mean I think they really enjoy it. They love, and then they make things. They each brownie will paint one of the shields that's on the boat. They make some of their costumes. So they're involved, and then they help marking up the act, practicing, decorating the hall, all that kind of thing. Yeah, so it's good. So I think they enjoy it.
Does the Yarrow squad now have a set costume? I'm asking this because you said you won your Brownies cuttle when you were in the Yarrow squad.
Yeah.
And when I was in the Yarrow squad, we all just wore any kind of pair of breeks. We were encouraged to wear wellies because they looked like Viking boots. Yeah. And then we had these kind of brown tabardy shirt things.
So we're different things. Usually what we're doing is
in sheepskin.
In sheepskins, yeah. So I mean, what I've done, I bought this couple of years. I bought dresses, and I've got some of the mums or the grannies to help alter them, and we're added things to them. And then the lasses sourced sheepskins. And also we had one of my pals with the hostel actually. She crocheted all their Viking hats.
Oh, nice!
So now we have a pile of green knitted hats to keep because it's pretty bairns, so it keeps them warm. Rather as your cold wood and steel, so they have knitted ones to keep their heads warm because some of them is only 7.
Well, when I was in the Yarrow squad, we still did the cardboard, like the Kellogg's box, when you cut the strips of paper and make a helmet and make
the thing,
and make card wings. And I had a cold one year, and Mum made me wear a Tory cap under my paper helmet, so you could see this bright red cap. And in every photo, I look so angry about it.
To keep them warm, because that's been an issue. Because obviously, big Viking dads and things can go out. We just with their costume, but for bairns it's more complicated. Because they are kind of young, so that's what we're doing. We're used to other things like that, and we still use the same shield that was used even in the enactment in 1987 for the Yarrow.
That shield's great.
Yeah, with a bird on it. So we still use that too.
Where's the muster point for the actual procession?
So they meet at 7:00 in the Waas Hall, and then we walk over with the card of food over to the new pier. We have the burning and fireworks. This year it was postponed for a couple of weeks, so the clocks have been changed. So it will mean that it will be quite light, but so it can feel kind of different because you kind of get fireworks in the dusk, it feels different because you can see everybody really clearly as well. So that's a bit different as well. So we just said, I hope we hear a good night.
Yeah, but it's kind of, well, it's handy for me it got postponed because it's no Clash when you delved in it.
Yes, I know, and that's why you can usually, it is because as soon as you get past the 16th, it just gets a bit light for your fireworks and your fire. But yeah, we had to postpone it just because it's bairns. So yeah.
And is it a torch procession as well?
Yeah. So what we do is we have Lerwick, Up Helly Aa and Neston this year have donated some spare torches.
Oh, that's lovely.
So we do have,
guys.
Yeah. So thanks for that. I don't know if they actually know that. And so yeah. So that
into the galley shed.
Sticking to the galley. So somebody knows. So yeah. So we didn't have a huge number, but we have about, I think, 30-40 torches.
That's a good number though.
Yeah.
I mind one year we did it, we 8 torches.
Yeah, so
and that was still cool.
Yeah, so it's fine. It's just a pretty procession, and it's just enough to light up. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And have you been to any other Up Helly Aas yourself?
So this year we went along Neston.
Oh yeah.
And
that was the biggest Neston I'd ever had. Like,
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And my brother-in-law was in that squad and in Lerwick as well, so we went along to see that one. But usually I'm so Up Helly Aa doing all this stuff for Waas that my other visits has been minimal up to now. But yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking I was going to maybe go to one Up Helly Aa this year, and I've been to, well, this will be my 4th.
So you're doing well then. You can come with some of your ideas.
Yeah.
So that's good.
And are you involved as well? Because you used to do a lot of sailing. Are you involved with that stuff?
A pretty bit in the summer, yeah. Me husband and the bairns still do a bit of that too. So just when we can, when it's weather and we're still involved in the Waas Regatta Club, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, just when we can, we do Shetland maids and things like that, yeah.
And is there sailing nights available?
So so we try and usually it's every Wednesday night in the summer that we meet about 7 o'clock down at the pier. So for anybody interested, and we have some club boats that folk can come and have a shot.
Yeah.
So that's another. Yeah, so
like
come you.
Entertainment for young folk in the summer.
Yeah.
What would folk have to tack if they want to go off sailing?
Well, we do actually have some life jackets and things available, and we bought recently a whole lot of new club suits and that for bairns too. So we do have some stuff. So you can, even if I didn't have anything, don't worry. I'm sure we'll put something together if you need it. Yeah.
Just wear trainers.
Don't
wear rubber boots.
Spare socks and spare shoes, spare breeks.
Oh yeah, wear trainers with no precious boots. They're going to get wet.
No, they might get, and sat will come in them as well. Yeah. So yeah.
Do you have good boats for beginners and things?
We do. We have what they call some picos. We still have the mirror dinghies.
I love picos. They're like dodgems at sea.
Yes, and we're looking at getting some other boats as well. So yeah.
How's the numbers doing for the sailing?
The numbers are quite. They are still quite low in Shetland because it's got so many. I suppose in Shetland now, sailing used to be a really big thing, and now there are so many other sports that wasn't available now, leisure centres and all different sports. So sailing is kind of taking a bit of a downturn because of that. But hopefully it'll come back again, because we're really lucky to have the Waas we have to sail in here in Shetland.
And the wind.
We have plenty of wind.
How would you describe it as well though? Like, why do you love sailing?
It's just good to get out in the water. It's something different. It's quite hard work because it's not like football. You just go and get a bar and your shoes and your shorts. It's because you're dealing with boats and they take a bit of upkeep, and you're hosing sat off of those sails and that kind of thing. But it's good for. It's quite exciting. So even when you go off in a lot of wind, it can be a bit scary, but it can be exciting as well.
Yeah.
And it's just a different way of seeing where you bide because you're out in the water looking back.
Yeah.
At the houses and things, so it's just fine to be in the water too, something different.
And when you capsize, it's not that bad.
It's you just say to tax your breath for a minute.
I know, because I never capsized, and I used to be so afraid of sailing. As soon as I went off in a pico and fell off,
yes,
then I realised it's fine.
Exactly. No, we knew you have wetsuits, dry suits, all those things. So yeah, it's fine.
Not that you should go out there with the intent to capsize.
No, that wouldn't be the plan. But actually, knew a lot of the bairns, because they have wetsuits and dry suits. They actually want to jump in the water. It's not like when we were bairns, when we knew if you jump in the water you'd fill your rubber boots and probably nearly drown. But now, because they have the suits, they're not got that fear.
No.
And the life jackets are really good. They have wetsuit hat caps and gloves even, and
Yeah.
the boots, and so once you've been in for a few minutes, then you get used to the water. And
by the time you sail for 2 hours in a wetsuit, you want to jump in the water.
Yeah,
like we all just jump off.
Jumped off the pier. So no, it's good fun.
Great. But so just to recap, how can folk come along to Waas Up Helly Aa?
Yeah, so it's this Friday. That's the 30th, 7:00. So the procession will start around 7, and there'll not be rush because it is still light.
Yeah.
And then we'll just all meet back at the hall at about 8:00.
And then how long does the night go on for?
So it's not just that late. It usually finishes like about 11 because it just depends how many squads we have and how long it takes when there's multiple costume changes and how much dances. But it's usually not just too late because it is a bairns event too. And we have donations at the door and a raffle and a £1 for a programme, a lucky programme, and you might win something.
Oh really? That's good.
Yeah. So and I think this year our star prize is a donation, I think it's a £50 voucher for the Waas shop.
Oh, that's really good.
So there we go. Yeah, and there are lots of hampers to win too.
Yeah. So well, all the best at the 30th.
Yeah.
Up Helly Aa.
Thanks
I'll
very
be
much.
there. So
yes, so we'll hopefully see you there, Marjolein.
I hope I have a squad ready. But thanks very much for speaking to us today.
No, at all.
And I hope the listeners have learnt something about Up Helly Aa you've never heard about before, if that's the case.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you for listening.
You. Bye.
Bye.